Hey y'all, I'm Paula Deen, and in my humble opinion, you can never have too much of a good thing. And in this case, that means dessert. Today, I'm going to be fixing a few confections that are just the perfect ending to any meal. First up is a decadent Charlotte Russe, and then it's on to my ooey gooey toffee butter cake. And finally, my sweet Southwest Georgia pound cake, where nobody does it better. So stick around, y'all, because today is like a dessert dream come true. So the first dessert I'm making today is called Charlotte Russe. It's an old dessert that's been around for years and years and years. It's very much like a trifle. Now I'm gonna put 1/4 of a cup of milk in my saucepan, and while that's just warming up, I've got some water here, and I've got a plain gelatin here, and we're gonna just sprinkle that gelatin into that water, and I'm gonna let that bloom. We're gonna take this off, and I'm gonna add my gelatin to the milk and give that a stir. And it's already thickening up that milk. All right, I've got that dissolved, and I'm just gonna sit that over here, and then we're gonna move on over here to our egg whites. And these eggs are at room temperature. You always wanna start with room temperature eggs. They just work better. All right, so we're just gonna dump our whites into here, and then you'll wanna save your yolks for another dish. Okay, and this is our last egg. All right, and I'm gonna put these aside and save these for another recipe. All right, now we're gonna beat these until they form stiff but not dry peaks. All right, that looks like nice stiff peaks. All right, I'm gonna move this to the side and bring in this other bowl. And in this bowl, I'm gonna beat 2 cups of heavy whipping cream. And I'm gonna add a cup of granulated white sugar and a teaspoon of vanilla. And I'm gonna beat this until it forms stiff peaks also. And then I'm gonna fold these 2 things together along with our milk and our gelatin and our water. Okay, this is starting to thicken up a little. All right, let me move this out of the way. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna fold in our sweetened whipped cream into our egg whites. And while that gelatin dissolving, I'm gonna go ahead and start folding these 2 things together. And when you fold, you wanna go under and over. So to make sure that milk's not too hot, I'm gonna pour it back into this cold bowl, and that will chill it back down. And that's fine. It's just, it almost feels like the temperature of my body. So I'm just gonna drizzle that through here and then fold it in with the other ingredients. It's gonna make a wonderful gooey sweet center for our Charlotte Russe. All right, now we're gonna make a mold out of this Charlotte Russe. Well, I'm gonna use just a glass Pyrex dish, and I'm gonna start with lady fingers, and I'm putting about 3 across the bottom. And then I'm gonna come in here and I'm gonna stand up these lady fingers around the bowl. And you wanna make sure that you fill in all the gaps, because we're gonna unmold this onto a dish. All right, now I've got some sweet sherry, and I'm just gonna take our sherry, and we're gonna come in here, and I'm gonna brush our lady fingers with the sherry. All right, now I've got some wonderful strawberry preserves. These are store-bought. Now I'm gonna put a layer of the strawberry preserves down there. And you can see how that's coming along. Now I'm gonna move over here and get our cream filling, and I'm just gonna fill up the middle of these lady fingers. And then I'm gonna top it with some more lady fingers. And if I have to, I'll break some pieces to just finish that. All right, I've got it all covered with lady fingers now, and I've got a little bit more sherry left, so I'm gonna take that last little bit and just dab on top. And now I'm gonna take a plastic wrap, and I'm gonna seal this up real good, and I'm gonna stick it in the refrigerator for 4 to 6 hours, because I want this chilled very, very good. And when we come back, y'all, I'm combining two of my most favorite things in the whole world, a gooey butter cake and toffee chips. So don't go away. Gooey butter cakes. We're back, and before we get on to that gooey butter cake that I was talking about before break, I want to go ahead and unwrap our Russe, because I had one that's been in the refrigerator now for about 4 hours. And I'm going to go ahead and unmold this, and I'm going to slowly tilt it and let the air get up in there. Look how good that looks. Now, I had some filling left over, and I'm gonna dress this with just a little of our filling, and I've got some raspberries and strawberries. I'm just gonna drop some fruit around it. I'm gonna come in here and fan me out a berry and put in the center of that. That looks just delicious. And I'm gonna sit that over there. Now, y'all have seen me make gooey butter cakes several times on the show. I think out of all the gooey butter cakes, just the basic recipe may very well be my favorite. And then I'm adding chocolate toffee bits. And you can find these in your bacon section. These are just yummy. So I'm gonna start with the base to our gooey butter cake. I've got a stick of butter melted here. I've got a yellow cake mix here. I'm gonna add 1 egg and 1 stick of melted butter. Now, while I'm mixing up this, I'm gonna go ahead and add another stick of butter. So that's gonna melt, and we're gonna mix this up. And this batter is gonna be real, real thick. All right, I've got our crust and 1 egg and 1 stick of melted butter blended together here. But because I'm cooking outside and using my little mini oven, a 13 by 9 by 2 wouldn't fit in this oven. So I'm doing it in 2 8 by 8 pans. All I'm gonna do is divide our batter up, half in one pan and half in the other. And we're just gonna press this into our pan. Now we're gonna come over here and we're gonna make the filling to our gooey butter cake. And I'm gonna use the same bowl. I don't have to wash it. It's not gonna affect the center of our gooey. I'm gonna start with an 8-ounce package of cream cheese that's been softened to room temperature. I'm going to add 2 eggs. A teaspoon of vanilla. Another stick of melted butter. I'm going to get every drop out. And 1 16-ounce box of powdered sugar. Now we're just going to beat this up until it's smooth. All right. And now we're going to add our toffee bits to this. And I'm just going to fold those in. Now you can get toffee bits 2 ways. You can get the plain toffee bits, or you can get toffee bits with chocolate. Now I'm going to divide this center into both of these pans. And I'm just spreading this out. All right. Now I like a little sprinkled on top, so when it bakes, you can see that it's not just a regular gooey butter cake. So I'm going to take a few and just put on top like that. Now I'm going to put these in the oven. It's been preheated to 350 degrees. And because of the sizes of these pans, I'm going to just watch that. I'm going to keep checking on them periodically after like 30 minutes. So I think I've waited long enough. I'm going to come in here and cut me a piece. Ooh, that looks good. You can see those strawberry preserves. I just love the way this looks. It's got the different textures in there, the cream center and the strength that the lady fingers give it. The next thing up is the Southwest Georgia pound cake. So I'll see y'all back in a minute. Our gooey butter cakes turned out really, really good. It's amazing how well these little ovens will bake. These gooey butter cakes look delicious too. Sometimes I'll use these to put in the center of a baked Alaska. Ooh, I'm gonna try to resist tasting it and just keep those piled up there. They look scrumptious. All right, let's talk about pound cakes. This is one of the favorite pound cakes of the folks that live in Southwest Georgia, where I was born. I was born in Albany, Georgia, and a lot of people over there make these cakes. And I'm gonna start with 2 sticks of real butter at room temperature. Now I'm gonna add 3 cups of sugar. And I'm gonna beat these together until they're nice and creamy. All right, now I'm gonna add the eggs. All right, that's nice and creamy now. All right, now I've got 3 cups of all-purpose flour. And I have a half a teaspoon of baking powder. And I'm gonna give those a quick sift together. And that was baking powder now, not soda. All right, now we're gonna add our dry ingredients to our creamed mixture. We're gonna start with flour and end with flour. If we started with heavy cream and ended with cream, it would almost make our batter look like it had broken. And I'm gonna add a teaspoon of vanilla. All right, now I'm gonna take a bundt cake pan and I'm gonna spray it because you wanna make sure that your pound cakes always come out and don't leave chunks in the pan. And I'm gonna dust this with a little flour. We're just gonna pour our batter around. And we're gonna start this cake off now in a cold oven. And we're gonna bake it for an hour and 15 minutes. And you'll wanna just take your spatula and level out your cake like that. Now, like I said, we're not gonna turn our oven on until we put our cake in the oven. When we put the cake in the oven, we're gonna turn it to 325 for an hour and 15 minutes. And it's gonna be so light and rich and dense at the same time. I think the cook has earned the right to taste a gooey butter cake. So let's see how they turned out. They look yummy. You can see the toffee nut and the chocolate in the gooey part of that. It's unbelievably rich. While our cake's baking, I'm gonna clean up. And when we come back, I'm gonna show y'all ways that you can take that ordinary pound cake and really dress him up. So I'll see y'all back in a minute. I was telling y'all earlier that Southerners love their pound cake. But we also love doing different things with it. Like our toast, buttering it and frying it up in the black skillet. Well, there's just lots of things that you can do with a pound cake besides just eating it straight up. Personally, I love my strawberry shortcake made with fresh pound cake. You know, you can get the little cups in the grocery store that have the indented center, and that's what my mama used to use a lot of times. And they were perfectly yummy, but nothing, absolutely nothing, takes the place of real shortcake. So I'm gonna take our cake and I'm gonna just pour fresh strawberries and that juice over it. And I want to really get that juice all over it to soak into that piece of cake. And then I'm going to top it with fresh whipped cream. And you've got the best strawberry shortcake you've ever put in your mouth. And another flavoring that I really, really love is the flavor of lemon curd. I just love it. Now, you can make your own lemon curd, or you can do as I've done today and just use a store-bought. And I'm just gonna let that lemon curd just drip all over that piece of pound cake. And then I'm gonna top him with just a little fresh zest. These are just a couple of my favorite ways, and I'm sure once you make that pound cake that you're gonna come up with plenty of other ways yourself. Well, did y'all enjoy today's show? I hope that you did, because you know, there's just nothing better than just a whole bunch of desserts. The Southwest Georgia whipping cream pound cake is so unbelievably dense and rich and delicious. And the gooey butter cakes, I swear to Peter, I didn't think I could improve them, but I think the toffee bits just really take it over the top. And the Charlotte Russe, oh, it's just delicious. It's an old-timey dessert that we can still enjoy today. I hope y'all love all the recipes, and as usual, America, I want to send you love and best dishes from my kitchen to yours.